Hey everybody, Joseph Rothschild here, aka Mono Bluetron, back again with another episode of 10-Minute Testing. Well, it's hype time. After writing this deck all the way off, it looks like my words have come back to haunt me, and Shaddoll Dino is currently topping regionals left and right. In the interest of taking this deck seriously, we're going to try it out today and see if it's all hype or if Window really is the real deal in 2018. So here's the list, and you'll notice that it differs greatly from dinosaur decks of the past. You could almost say the deck has evolved. As always, I'll give you a little bit of background about the archetype, a little bit of a discussion about what I hope the deck can do, and as always, the card by card. So firstly, for those of you that don't know, Dinosaur is a deck that's been on and off playable for a while now. Its first super successful iteration was Dino Rabbit, but that was quickly put a stop to. Afterwards, it saw marginal successes in Zodiac format as Dino Yang Zing, with the excellently positioned Danglong, and even after his banning, true King Dino OTK decks were, at least for a while, still good enough to compete in a format where the most broken thing you could do was summon Master Plan in defense mode. Unfortunately, as the format solidified and decks became more streamlined, it became harder and harder for dinos to compete, and if they didn't go extinct, they certainly were critically endangered. Until now, the release of Overtex Qoatlus, I'm not even going to try to say his name correctly, and the domination of Electromite has done two things for Dinosaur. Firstly, it's given them consistent turn 1 access to their most powerful card, Double Evolution Pill, and secondly, it's given them a good enough reason to play a secondary engine of Shaddolls. Since most players' turn 1 boards now end on one extra deck monster, Shaddoll Fusion both gives them access to their incredibly one-sided floodgate Shaddoll Winda, and dumps the materials necessary to produce the other broken special summon in their deck. By repeatedly assembling boards of strong Shaddoll Fusion monsters using their recycling effects, and repeatedly summoning Ultimate Conductor Tyranno via Qoatlus' effect, the deck's got incredible OTK potential, significant stun mechanisms, and a pretty reasonable grind game as well. So with that out of the way, let's look at the card by card. First, we've got our hand traps. 3 copies of Effect Veiler, it just stacks up better against pendulums, and 3 copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. Next are our dolls, 1 Beast, 1 Dragon, and 1 Hedgehog. After that is 1 copy of Giant Rex for play extension, 3 copies of Armageddon Knight to bin Overtex or Dolls, 3 copies of Oviraptor to bin Overtex, Search Conductor, or snag a Kaiju, 2 Conductor to win us the game, 2 Overtex to find the pill, and 1 Dagoran to out Big Duders. For spells, we've got Double Evolution Pill, 3 Fossil Dig, 3 Shaddoll Fusion, 1 Gold Sarcophagus, 2 Twin Twisters for all the back row floating around, 1 Foolish Burial, 1 Monster Reborn, 1 Rhoda, 1 Regeki, and 1 Darkhole. Then for traps, we've got 3 evenly matched. In the extra, we've got 2 copies of Window, 1 Grista, and 1 Shekinaga, some rank 4s, Abyss Dweller, Diamond Dyer, Dolka, Logia, Samurai for OTKs, Baguska, and Tornado Dragon. Then for links, we've got Akashic, Borreload, Decode, and Underclock Taker. So with that, let's jump into the games. So our first match is up against Tier 1 meta threat Formula Athletes, and you can see we've opened pretty well. Any hand with a Souleating Oviraptor in it is good, and any hand with access to an Armageddon Knight is great. Our opponent has opened okay for FA. I don't know what constitutes a good hand in this deck, but I think normal summoning Sonic Meister and passing it back is not particularly strong. We're going to start by activating this copy of Fossil Dig in our hand, getting ourselves a Giant Rex, then activating the reinforcement of the army for an Armageddon Knight. We'll use his effect to send a copy of Overtex to Graveyard, getting ourselves the Double Evolution Pill, which we will use now. That gets us Rex's effect. We can special summon him, use Ultimate Conductor Tyranno's effect to set that sucker face down. We'll destroy 1 card with Shaddoll Beast and destroy the other with Tornado Dragon, then attack over the Meister, forgetting of course that it can't be destroyed by battle by something with lower levels than it, and then passing it back. Our opponent's going to start by terraforming a field spell and passing it back to us. Thankfully that is way more than enough for lethal. We'll normal summon a copy of Souleating Oviraptor, send another copy of Overtex to get another Double Evolution Pill just in case, get in for 21, 18, and the big 35. So the combination of Ultimate Conductor Tyranno and a rank 4 is something that we're going to try to go into in every game we can't otherwise make a Winda. Our second match is up against Trickstar, and the reason it's not our third match is because it's a slightly different version of the deck than you're probably used to. It's the all-in version, which is unfortunately becoming slightly more popular. It aims to use cards like Disturbance Strategy and Trickstar Reincarnation to blow you out from 8,000 life points. Our opponent's going first, which is not good news for us, but thankfully we do have a copy of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit in our hand, and they're unlikely to tag out into the 2 copies of Licorice unless they can absolutely kill us, since they have almost no way to recur them. They're going to go into a second Candina after we show them the Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, which is great news for us. We'll go ahead and normal summon this Souleating Oviraptor, send a Giant Rex, banish both for Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, use Giant Rex's effect to make an Evilzar Dolka, and then attack for 2,300 and 3,500. We've gone into Dolka because we know they have a Candina in hand. We don't know the other Trickstars, so it's a pretty good bet that we can negate its effect with Dolkas. They, of course, cannot tag out here because our Ultimate Conductor Tyranno can attack every monster they control 1 time each, including those Trickstar Licoricicas. We'll go ahead and go into battle phase to deal the lethal damage necessary. Well, we got into match 3 particularly quickly, but that's to be expected when we're playing an OTK deck. For our third match, we're playing a best of 3 against this monstrosity, a very spicy brew that recently took down a regional. It's playing Metal Foes, True Draco, and cards like Rescue Hamster. This deck is secretly very, very sweet, and I think it's a top contender in today's metagame. Our opponent's going to get to start. As expected, they'll go ahead and activate this copy of Metalfoes Volflame and the Gold Driver. They'll use Volflame to destroy Gold Driver, getting themselves a Metalfoes combination. Afterwards, they'll use Rescue Hamster's effect to get 2 copies of Gold Driver and Electromite. We will immediately affect Valor, preventing anything shady from going on. Afterwards, they'll go into a Dragonic Diagram. We will Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit that. They will set 1 card and pass it back to us. So things are looking very good. We'll start by activating Fossil Dig to get ourselves a Giant Rex, then Souleating Oviraptor. We'll send a copy of Overtex to Graveyard, getting ourselves an Ultra Evolution Pill. We'll go ahead and banish 2, getting our Giant Rex back from the banished zone to go into Logia and attack for 1,700 points of damage and 2,400 points of damage. Now we have a negation, and we have a Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit in hand. We will fire that one off immediately when our opponent goes to destroy the Metalfoes combination. That will destroy the Volflame, and then we'll negate the effect of the Rabbit. So for game 2, we're going second because we won, but that's pretty okay with me, especially with a hand of double Shaddoll Fusion, Degorin, and Effect Valor. Our opponent's going to start by activating this copy of Dragonic Diagram, destroying the Metalfoes combination they've just set, getting another Metalfoe to hand, setting Scales with Volflame and Gold Driver, destroying Gold Driver so they can activate the effect of Astrograph Sorcerer, getting another Gold Driver to hand, then setting Silvered, tributing for Masterpiece, using Combination's effect for another Metalfoe, and Pendulum summoning 3, 2 from hand and 1 from extra. They'll go into an Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon and then destroy it to get themselves a copy of Metalfoes Fusion face down and a Vortex Dragon in defense mode. That's great news for us because we've just drawn an evenly matched off the top of our deck. We'll go into battle phase, fire that sucker off. They will chain Masterpiece so they can send their Metalfoes Fusion to the graveyard and get 2 draws, then leave 1 scale, and we'll pass it back. They'll go ahead and activate the effect of Metalfoes Fusion. Ugh, they drew into an 8 scale. They'll go ahead and summon the Gold Driver. I allow this to happen despite having the Twin Twister set because I won 1 extra deck monster on their side of the field so we can activate Shaddoll Fusion. Unfortunately, they see through my clever ruse and destroy it so they can get another combination set. We have an Effect Valor, an Overtex, and a Shaddoll Fusion in our hand, so we'll pass it back. Our opponent draws into an 8 scale, although it doesn't particularly matter because they can get whatever they need off of this Metalfoes combination as well. They'll go ahead and set the 8 scale, then Pendulum summon 2, a Gold Driver, and another Gold Driver so they can go into Electromite. We'll activate Effect Valor, which is excellent. Now our Shaddoll Fusion is online, and I make the very interesting choice to go into Sheki here, envisioning some far-flung future where we're able to banish the Giant Rex in order to get its effect off. Unfortunately, it doesn't really play out like that. We destroy a spell and trap card with our Shaddoll Dragon, then attack over the Electromite, but unfortunately they have 1 Electromite left, and they've drawn a copy of Rescue Hamster, which will go into 2 Rescue Hamsters, which unfortunately still makes Electromite. They'll use Electromite to send an Astrograph Sorcerer, then Electromite again to destroy 1 card on their side of the field. They'll set Scales, 1 and 8, to Pendulum summon an Astrograph Sorcerer, a copy of Volflame, and then Mithrilium to shuffle our sucker back and attack us for lethal points of damage, 2,600 directly, followed by 1,800, 100 over lethal. Alright, it's that all-important Game 3, and we are going second for the 3rd time in 3 games. Our opponent, unfortunately, has basically everything they could ever want, but a Regeki and a Shaddoll Fusion should make quick work of most of it. They're going to start by activating this copy of Dragonic Diagram to get a Heritage after painful decisioning a Gold Driver to hand, so they can destroy that, activate the effect of Astrograph Sorcerer for another Gold Driver, and then set Scales of 1 and 8. They'll go ahead and Pendulum summon just 1 monster. That's enough for Electromite. They're going to use Electromite's effect to send a copy of Astrograph, then destroy 1 card, triggering the effect of Astrograph, so they can get another copy of Gold Driver to their hand. Jeez, it never ends. They'll then destroy the Gold Driver for a set copy of Combination, then tribute summon themselves a copy of Masterpiece, which is immune to everything but monster effects. They'll then destroy their own Dragonic Diagram, I think a misclick there, and get a Volflame to hand before passing it back. So we'll start by activating Shaddoll Fusion. Of course, Winter can't be destroyed by monster effects. We'll draw a card off of Beast, and what do we draw? But, Fossil Dig, what a fantastic draw. We're going to get ourselves a copy of Souleating Oviraptor, which allows us to search one of our very few outs to Gorin the Mad Flame Kaiju. We'll then Regeki and get in for 22 and 1,800 points of damage. Not lethal, but a pretty good chunk. Our opponent, of course, still has action in their hand. We know they have an 8 scale. They'll Painful Decision for a 1, then set it, activate Upstart Goblin, get a Summoner's Art for another copy of Volflame, then Pendulum summon 2 from hand and 1 from extra deck, and Sorcerer, of course, attack over our window so that they can special summon some more. We will add this copy of Shaddoll Fusion back to our hand and take 2,400 and change. Our opponent's going to go into Electromite. Of course, we can't stop this. Here come the Astrograph loops, the Astrograph effects, yada yada yada. You will see this a lot in the upcoming format. They get themselves another copy of Steelin, destroy this copy of Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon with their silvered effect to get a Vortex, terraforming for a Dragonic Diagram, destroy 1 card on their side of the field so they can get another Metalfoe, set this True King's Return, and pass it back. So we're going to start with the Twin Twister, just trying to bait out this Vortex Dragon activation. We don't get it here, unfortunately, but after he special summons the Masterpiece, we do get it off of the effect of Armageddonite. They do decide to negate, which leaves us wide open to win the game. We'll start by activating Shaddoll Fusion to get Winda, then we'll activate Shaddoll Dragon to destroy this Spell or Trap, and this Qoatlus in order to get ourselves another copy of the Pill. We'll activate Double Evolution Pill for a copy of Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, attack, use its effect for 1,000, attack, use its effect for 1,000, and just attack normally. Winda will clean things up. So we're back with the deck, and whew, those were some tense games, but we ended up on the right side of them. I think this deck is not only nuts, it's incredibly easy to play. There were tons of combo lines in Yang Zing Dino and in TK Dino that took real practice to get down. This deck has none of that. Because of that, I think this deck is going to be wildly overrepresented in this upcoming format by players who want the ability to steal games without putting in the combo research they maybe had to a format ago. Now that's a good thing in my opinion. I love low barriers to entry, but it's certainly going to be rough for anyone who can't out-Winda. So that's that. I regret to inform you that my initial diagnosis of the deck was, unfortunately, wrong. It's actually good. And write that down because I'm not wrong often. If you want to see me play the decks I make on this show, I'm on twitch.tv every Tuesday and Thursday from 10 to midnight Eastern Standard Time, and if you want to see me play a certain deck or archetype on a future episode of this show, let me know in the comment section below and I'll do my best. Otherwise, I'll see you Wednesday.